said the action taken by the trade fair was inhumane. Others also think the Fantasy Dome CEO should have acted in time after having received about 8 notices prior to the demolition. But beyond the trade fair Fantasy Dome situation, this has brought to the fore questions about challenges private individuals go through to run event facilities. On the back of this development, we identify some of the struggles these investors go through in managing their events venues. We suggest ways of alleviating their burdens and the best way for government to incorporate them into the grand scheme of things. And to do this with us, we have in the studio my very own uncle, Uncle Ken.
Kwame.
Now you chim, you call Ukrum.
Ukosro.
You call so. You could in your man in Mequang.
No, when you may be a Javasem.
Only in the coy. Then you quaban your boy money.
Ubo me day.
Me boy money.
What can I say?
What can I say? What can I say?
Ubo me a money.
Money, eh? Yeah, and you know me, the hour. And again,
you enjoyed yourself.
Oh,
from
but you see this man here
from the account I got.
You see how he suddenly come like that, the way he enjoyed it, and the way he was tired too.
And the weather was good for you.
Oh yeah, it was. It was.
Nice one.
It was a great one.
Yeah.
And I hope you're doing well.
Yes, I am. Yeah. It's been a week of getting back to normalcy.
Yeah.
You know, from the issue of internet and things the weekend before.
Say again.
Yeah, so getting back to normalcy somehow.
Yeah.
Was very welcome. Very welcome. You know,
it was
and
very frustrating.
I mean, we must congratulate the telcos for the swift manner in which whatever they did were able to get back to normalcy and not give us issues for an extended period. And then most of them are giving some free data, you know, to customers to compensate them for the...
all of them should do that.
I'm saying some of them are at the moment, you know. You want all of them to.
Oh, yeah, that would be nice. Yeah.
But you see, somebody like me, Kwame.
Yeah.
My data usage is not going to be anywhere as close as yours. You know that.
Yes.
I mean, just taking on the service, or Kojos, or Philippine, who is half the time on the talking things I don't understand. You know. You people, your usage of data is quite huge.
Yeah.
So if somebody compensates you by giving you 50 GB of data, and then asks you to consume that in 5 days, where I'm concerned, you haven't done me any favors.
Now I get where you're coming
from.
Okay.
You get where I'm coming from. Because me, I was giving 50 GB. I said, na me nankasa ahina me use. I have plenty in the bank.
Yeah.
And you say you're giving me extra 50 GB that I should use in 5 days.
I understand where you're coming from.
Intimate me hunu ba anka wono de chai wanka wani beje.
Oh, Febi Mura. All right. But Kojo Prekudankwa is convener for FOCAP, Federation of Concerned Arts. The last one.
Professionals.
I've been confusing. Okay, the other one is it Federation or Foundation?
Foundation. We changed from Federation to Foundation.
Foundation.
Yeah.
Of Concerned Arts Professionals.
Yes.
Thanks for coming.
Welcome.
I hope you are doing well.
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Why are you so charged up?
Oh, am I? You can see, eh?
Why are you so charged up?
Oh, no, maybe the sun is hot, so...
Keep calm. There is no order from above.
I get up.
Keep calm.
I hear.
You are safe. You are safe.
But if the order from above matter is to be believed, the way people have put it.
We don't know what it is.
Then it means that over here...
we don't know anything. We
over here, you should have a double...
Kojo, so welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you,
we also have in the studio Baba Sadiq. Baba Sadiq. He is one of us. He's founder of 3 Music Networks, Widerland Festival. He's a politician.
Yes.
He's a politician as
Our
well.
incoming MP.
Since he started, getting into that side, he has neglected us.
I'm Uncle Ken's tomato chief.
I knew this was going to happen. I knew
I should add that.
Start.
Among all my titles, I'm Uncle Ken's tomato in chief. I'm back. Tomato Uncle Ken. Uncle Ken.
Baba, it's good to see you. But you see, you're not even... Oh, but I've always...
You see, you're looking young and I'm beginning to look old.
So you want to be politician?
Charlie.
The stress alone.
I'm going to get you some of your white hair.
Baba, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good to see you too. But how are you managing?
Oh, we are cool.
Your admirers.
Plenty.
All of them. New ones.
New ones.
New young ones.
Exactly.
Young again.
But why do you have to qualify with young?
Oh no, I'm just
saying new ones.
Because you are looking young. So equally, you know.
No, Uncle Ken is young. He's young at heart.
He's young at heart, yeah.
Yes.
DJ Uncle Ken.
Yeah.
This guy.
DJ Uncle Ken is young.
Very young at heart.
When Philip told me this guy was coming, I nearly said I won't come.
And today I came early because when I saw Philip's prayer today, I knew campaign fans. I'm coming for my share.
Baba,
yes.
How have you been?
I mean, I've been good. Just a bit tired and stressed, but all in all, I'm
doing
fine.
What?
Well, crisscrossing my constituency.
Yeah.
And then trying to do some private work. Last week was very hectic also because we're doing some work for the UNHCR.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a UNHCR philanthropy support champion.
Okay.
So I've been supporting them, trying to do their first annual iftar and organize some few Ghanaian Muslim business leaders, politicians and opinion leaders to raise funds for refugees from Burkina Faso that had come into the country due to the conflict in Burkina Faso. And so it was quite hectic together with all the one-on-ones, door-to-doors, iftar sessions and everything else in between.
Great.
So, it's been great.
Great. Okay, welcome to the show, Joe 99.7 FM. Even ahead of the discussion, you can send in your message to 05511111997. And today, we are looking at investing in event venues in Ghana. And this is on the back of the demolition of the Fantasy Dome, which happened last week, Saturday. I saw the videos on Sunday, and then later we spoke to the people involved. We spoke to Leslie Queno, who is CEO of Fantasy Entertainment. He'll be speaking to us today on the show as well. And then spoke to the CEO of the Ghana Trade Fair Company Limited, Dr. Agnes Edu, as well. We'll be playing that interview that I had with him later on the show, and also be looking at ways of making this industry, this whole creative industry, very, very conducive for investors. How do we do that? Investors in the arts, particularly to those who invest in event venues like the Fantasy Dome, which was about 15,000 capacity. 15,000 plus capacity. Yeah, so we'll be doing that. But let me pick your initial remarks on this particular incident that happened last week, even before we get to speak to the people involved and then get deeper into the various angles. Let me start with you. When did you see the story?
Well, I saw it on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
I think on Sammy Flex page.
Okay.
Because I think
that was where I also saw it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in fact, I was shocked anyway because if it happened on Saturday, then we should have also heard it. I think around that time.
Okay.
But whatever it is, I saw it on Sunday, and I was like, wow, this is terrible.
Yeah.
So before I even wrote something about it, I had to get to Sammy.
Okay.
To get much clarification as to what truly it is, even though I watched his video and the interview he had with Leslie.
Yeah.
Then he sent me some couple of documents for me to go through. So I read them in details as to the injunction that Leslie had and all that. So I was like, okay, then this for me, on the face value, it is really bad. I mean, if you were to dismantle, that would have been a better option rather than, I mean, demolition, or, I mean, giving it that serious warfare, I mean, attack on that particular, I mean, structure and all that. I saw cameras, I saw those things in there, and I thought that it was something that was not good. And as much as we could give too many reasons to it, we could talk about a million times of alert or caution and all that. I mean, we should have also seen the other side of the whole thing. So, for me, initially when I saw it, that was what really came. I mean, to me, for me to even make a write up on that. Yeah.
But at that time, did you think that maybe hearing the other side of the story would have perhaps assuaged your doubts or your worries in a way?
No, I around that time, even if I heard anything from the Office of Trade Fair, still I wouldn't have given them any thumbs up, simply because, I mean, we should kind of give some human touch to some of these things. You know why? Because, especially the person, by strange reasons, you want to call it stubbornness or whatever it is you want to call it. I mean, this is an investment that a person, I mean, has invested into, and you do not want to see such investment being dealt with like that. The manner and the approach that went into it, for me, even if Trade Fair had given me 100 million reasons, my point is that it's very inhumane. I mean, you don't do that to an investor of that nature. In as much as you've given him 8 or 10 notices and all that, for me, it would have been much better for you to rather dismantle it and put it down and tell him that you're giving him the next 2-3 days to come and clear all his stuff and then move on from there. But to give it that warfare touch, for me, Trade Fair, if they had come in, still, I wouldn't have given them any hearing at all.
Great. Joe 99.7 FM. Let me come to you, Uncle Ken. How did you feel when you saw the story?
I got quite emotional because I'd been introduced to that edifice by none other than Sadiq, who's sitting here this evening. Sadiq was the first person to introduce me to that edifice at the Trade Fair site. That's when he held his first ever 3 music awards. And piled all the awards onto Shatta Wale at the time, forgetting that he was to become his nemesis somewhere along the line.
But if he deserved it,
that is what happened.
And okay, if he deserved it, why should he?
I am stating facts.
Okay, you carry on. Don't worry.
You see, I started.
I am stating facts.
No, just stop as Sadiq introduced you there. Then we'll move on.
How many awards did Shatta Wale receive?
He will add it to his nemesis.
Tell me.
No, in fact, that was the second one.
Or whatever.
Okay.
That day, that awards that you heaped so many on Shatta Wale.
No, it was a bot.
you see the escape route. So the next time I got access to it again through Sadiq, one way or the other, Deborah Cox was coming to perform in Ghana, and I mean, I knew of Deborah Cox from the 80s, and so was interested in getting to see her perform. That was the second time, and those two are the only times I had been to the Fantasy Dome, you know. So I felt quite emotional when I heard the story. I said, oh, wow. Then I asked myself, hey, Fantasy Dome, is it still in existence? Because I haven't heard a lot of people say they're going to have events at the Fantasy Dome. Maybe it's me, I don't hear. But I haven't over a period. So it came as a double surprise to me that, hey, Fantasy Dome still exists. And, you know, my emotional attachment also played a part. And when I heard this, I said, oh God, this cannot be true. If a dome that everybody accepts is assembled on a piece of land, it means that it can be dismantled and moved elsewhere. So whatever the issue was, that is my beef. I can't go into the intricacies of contracts and whether somebody was right or wrong. No, I'm not.
The matter is even in court, so let's be careful.
Just me being me, I say to myself, oh, why couldn't it have been dismantled and put aside for the person to come and take his things away? That's my real concern with this matter for now. Okay.
Baba?
For me, I was also emotional when I found out that the Fantasy Dome had been demolished. I happen to know the challenges Leslie has had since he established the Fantasy Dome. Leslie was there for a lot of. Leslie has always been a long-time creative industry investor. A lot of people may not know.
And later on, that he added some food items. But you see, the head teacher
shows for Samini, shows for Wale, shows for a number of them. You know, again, a lot of people don't know the main guy that put together the whole Beyonce collaboration for Shatta Wale is Leslie. He's the guy.
Okay.
He's the guy that did all the work.
Wow.
Yeah, he's the guy that did all the work, putting all the collaboration together, making sure Wale was brought out there when there was a suggestion that they wanted to shoot the part of the video here with Wale. He had to make sure go the extra mile to bring Wale there. So Leslie has always had the industry at heart, and the plans that he had for industry with the establishment of the Fantasy Dome was very, very noble, you know. And he started having challenges right from when he established it, you know, right when the new management took over. And he established the Fantasy Dome. From that time, there was a hassle. There was a bit of a tiff between him and the CEO regarding the usage of the place, because his lease covered the round pavilion, and he had to renovate the round pavilion, keep it in good shape. There were media reports prior to his taking over where the round pavilion was totally neglected. I mean, there was weeds all over. The side was in bad shape. And Leslie had to take it, and the side where he took the Fantasy Dome, the amount of laterite that was used to fill the place, it's crazy, you know. And so apart from our events, from about April 2018, it's been tough for him with the management. Then the whole redevelopment plan started to, take shape.
When did that start?
The redevelopment, the whole activity started 2018. I don't know when the Ramonacha story started, when they started demolition. But I think there was just about that time, 2018, 2019, you know, and then this happened. But I knew that he had plans to relocate the dome. You know, I know he had engaged the ministry. I know he was in constant touch with Mark, for instance, to relocate the Fantasy Dome. Initially, it was close to the Regional Coordinating Council, opposite Etel Tigo. You know, he had plans to move it.
I heard him say he had nearly secured. He had actually plot at Legon.
Yes, in fact, now he had almost closed it, and so that informed why they had to secure the injunction against the Trade Fair Authority to ensure that they can, because the dome can be dismantled easily.
Okay. And
taken, it's just an operation, just a dismantling operation that will take place for just over a few days. Because myself, Leslie, and the management of the Trade Fair know very well that even though they've demolished it, trust me, Kwame, there won't be anything significant done at that particular part of the Trade Fair till January 2025.
Really?
Don't be surprised not to see anything significant. Nothing will be done. We've seen the Trade Fair from 2018. There was a lot of rush to break and demolish and everything. Go to the Trade Fair now.
But according to them, the Fantasy Dome had stalled the operations.
That's a lie. That's if anybody knows the plan of the redevelopment plan and where they intend to locate whatever, that's a lie. The whole thing they gave is just an afterthought.
They said all their sewage and
that's for me. I was emotional and also angry in the sense that I noticed that the board and management of the Trade Fair seems to move with a certain level of recklessness.
Okay.
because this is not the first time. They've done it before. They did it to Minacha, and in this particular instance,
are they not doing their work?
How are they doing their work? What's the work here? An injunction has been served against you. Beyond that, this could be moved. And for me, particularly Kwame, I was concerned about the fact that if you are part of the state or government today, there are a few things you will understand. You will understand that the government had initially recognized the importance of venues, which necessitated the promise they made to the sector. Now, for some reason, that promise has not been fulfilled.
Baba, we'll get there.
Government is trying to find ways and means around it. Now, if you are part of government today, how do you take a reckless decision to say, let's go and demolish a venue that seems to be filling in the gap for you? How?
Okay, Joy 99.7 FM, we're taking a look at investing in event venues in Ghana on the back of the demolition of the Fantasy Dome. On the lines now, on Zoom now, I have Leslie Queno. He's the CEO of Fantasy Entertainment, owners of the Fantasy Dome. Good afternoon, sir.
Something missed for supper.
Good afternoon, Leslie.
The other things I mentioned, sardine.
Well, it appears we're having some glitches there. Let's try to fix that and then get back to you here. Joy 99.7 FM Showbiz A to Z, and we're having a conversation on the demolition of the Fantasy Dome, and also making sure that we also suggest ways of creating an enabling environment for investors in the creative industry. Let me go on the line again and speak to Leslie. Hello, Leslie.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Dadzie.
Good afternoon.
Pleasure to be here. Can you hear me?
Great. Pleasure to have you on air. I hope you're doing well.
By His grace. I mean, I'm not in the best shape, but I'm definitely hanging in there. The Lord is keeping me strong. But this is a calamity that's happened, and I'm glad to have a chance to keep it in the media so that we don't let this go and destroy our industry, which we all cherish very much.
Great. Permit me to take you back a bit and let's have a background conversation before we get into the main or the crux of the matter. Tell us about the Fantasy Entertainment. What do you do?
Wow. We've done a lot. Fantasy Entertainment, I think we did our first event in Ghana, if I'm not mistaken, with Rick Ross. And I think we'll go back probably maybe almost 17, 18 years. I mean, we've been doing this for over 25 years. But in terms of major concerts, I think our first foray was with Rick Ross at the Dome next to Conference Center. We've done most of actually probably the largest shows at the National Sports Stadium. We've done Movado, we've done Popcorn, Da Vinci, we did Alkaline, and some of the larger artists that has come through Ghana in terms of supporting this industry. And everyone that came to Ghana, we actually had collaborations with the local artists. So every concert, every artist I ever brought to Ghana, from Cranium to Movado to Popcorn, I always made sure that they did a collaboration with Samini or Stoneboy or Shatawale. And I think that's how we were able to build that whole dance hall vibe, which kept kind of going for a long time for the last 20 to 15 years.
Wow. Let me ask, was the Fantasy Dome your very first infrastructural investment in entertainment in Ghana?
Well, yes. I mean, we also owned Cinderella's, which was in Cantonments, which is where...
Hello, Leslie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Wait, the sound is not clear. It's not too clear. Could you please distance the mouthpiece from... I don't know if you can... Yeah, check the distance.
Is it better now?
I think it's okay. I think it's better. Okay, please go on.
Oh, yes. I was saying that before the Fantasy Dome, we've owned a club called Cinderella's, which is where Oasis currently is. It was one of the clubs that did a lot within that period. But the Fantasy Dome was actually, the genesis of it was we had a challenge in all the large stadium shows. We spent a lot of investment bringing artists and doing collaborations. But unfortunately, when it was time to count the money, we realized that the security was very porous and the gate fees were very low because people would just be let in for next to nothing by the security that we had at that time. I don't want to blame anyone, but that's what it was. So it wasn't practical to keep investing in large concerts because you couldn't make the return. So there was a practical business, at least business view that to secure it, if you're going to keep doing concerts, because we don't want to give up, right? I would have to build my own venue because that's the only way I can secure the revenue correctly, but also build a venue that was geared towards events or concerts or entertainment. Because the stadium, it wasn't customer friendly. I mean, there's a huge glass edifice around the stadium, and to get the sound into the stands and be comfortable, it was a lot. So I don't think the stadium is geared towards concerts. I mean, it's a sports stadium. It's for soccer, right? So I decided to invest in a proper venue that not only catered for the space, but also catered for production. Also catered for the livelihood of the performances, right? Or the performance, such as a green room, a dressing room with showers, with the dressing rooms and with comfortable bathroom facilities. I had over 70
Hello?
To go to and not be able to use a restroom or it's not very comfortable and it's class. So I think this is what drove my decision to finally build the Fantasy Dome, which catered for all these elements to create a world-class event space in which I could invite a Drake or a Beyonce or any of the world-class artists to want to come to Ghana and perform in a place that made not only financial sense, but also put Ghana on a map to being respected as a location in which when all these artists are doing their world tours, right now only South Africa is part of their plans, right? Because Nigeria doesn't have venues this size. And Ghana was soon going to be part of that list, until we've just been taken off that list because we don't have it anymore. But you need a venue that could right-size the revenue for the concert and also have the production that met the world-class standards for these artists.
Okay, Leslie, let me ask you, how did you get the land for lease?
Well, I actually approached the trade fair back in 2018, and the only reason was because at that time the only practical space that had enough space for parking was in a secure or close to a security enclave. Also had all the road networks that could get to it. I mean, where the location was very central and easily accessed. And very importantly, it had enough space for parking, which is always a challenge in Ghana events, right? Is everybody has no parking, but they have an event space, which I don't know how that happened. So that was very important. So I came to the new administration at that time. I'd actually been working with the previous administration, but there was an election and the new administration came in. I had to wait a couple of months, but I negotiated my lease with the current CEO of the trade fair, Dr. Agnes Edu. And at that time, as Sadiq correctly stated, I included the Rand Pavilion, which I had to spend a lot of money renovating to use as for events.
Was the pavilion part of the agreement?
Yes, it was. It was part of my original lease, and I dumped a lot of money to renovate it. I mean, I had to recreate terrazzo walls and terrazzo floors and repaint the edifice and make it fit for use. When I took over, they were using the pool area for sewer. I mean, that's where people would come by and empty their stomachs during the day, unfortunately. But I fixed it up, I cleaned it up, and it became a really beautiful edifice that was being used for events, at least in the beginning parts.
How long did it take you putting up the structure?
The Fantasy Dome took about 6 to 8 months to finalize it, but that was because when I first got the land, obviously we just was looking for space. But then we had to do a soil test, which my architect pressed me for, and we realized that Trade Fair was full of clay. And over where I was located, there was about 2.5 meters of clay. And as I've said before, I didn't want to do the wrong thing by just throwing a little thin piece of concrete over it and calling it a day, because clay is very unstable. And to have 15,000 plus people or 10,000 plus people jumping on it, it could buckle at any time, and that could cause a huge calamity, right? So we had to extract all the clay, go down to the rock, fill it with rocks, laterite, and also do a concrete, which had iron rods, and the trade. My space is about 8,000 square meters, so it's about 150 meters, which is about the length of the stadium, or probably more, right? Because the stadium is 100 meters, right? That's a 100-meter track, so I'm 1.5 times the size of the length of the stadium, and then 50 meters across. We have to empty the whole thing out, dig it all out, fill it with laterite and rocks and iron rods, and create a proper foundation of concrete. And then screed it. And unfortunately, that work alone took about 3 months because being in the strength or the strength of the concrete, we had to let it cure. But the actual dome itself took about 1.5 months to 2 months to put up. And then obviously we built 70 bathrooms in the back made of blocks. We built dressing rooms and green rooms in the back. We built conference rooms. Those took another 2 to 3 months to be fully ready.
So in total, about 6 or 7 months?
Yes.
Wow. And how much did it cost you in total?
The initial investment was about $5 million, which is the cost of the dome, and that was 5 years ago. Obviously, along the way, I've upgraded in my equipment, because I purchased the full production. It was a full production house, right? When you came to us, you didn't bring chairs, you didn't bring tables, you didn't bring lights, you didn't bring sound, you didn't bring stage, you didn't even bring trusses. You just told us what you wanted to do, and we gave you exactly what you wanted, and that was it. So we also at some point started becoming a production studio, filming TV shows during the COVID era. I mean, we filmed in Soma, we filmed The Boss Show, and we even filmed Step Up, which is a joy show.
Yeah.
Which is a great show. It was all filmed in the Fantasy as a production house.
Wow. What was the payment model for the lease? Hello, Leslie? Hello? All right, Joe 99.7 FM, 055111197. If you want to be part of this conversation, just send us a message to this WhatsApp number, 055111197. On Zoom now, we're speaking to Leslie Quino, who is the CEO of Fantasy Entertainment, owners of the demolished Fantasy Dome. And we're having a background conversation on the whole dome before we even get into the crux of the matter. But let me quickly come to my guests as we try to reconnect with Leslie Quino. So, Uncle Ken, I hope you've been listening to Leslie tell his story, how it all started.
Yes, I have. And like I said, I mean, it's a very unwanted issue. If it could have been avoided, it would have been best for everybody. But like I said, I don't know what Leslie's next. I don't think you got to asking him what his next line of action.
We just started. We didn't get there.
Exactly. I've heard him speak, and all I've heard him say is the fact that his lawyers, he's talking to his lawyers, and they're seeing which avenues they can take to try and address this matter. I also heard that they're in talks with the ministry.
They were, it was about a year.
And that they're still in talks
Yes,
with the ministry over this matter. My biggest worry is the suspicion and the theories that are being propounded around this issue. When you get to hear the fact that they are in talks with the ministry to resolve this matter, what are they in talks to resolve?
No, they were in talks before to relocate the dome.
Okay. Talking about ministry, Mark was with us. I mean, Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Kwame was with us at the summit, business summit yesterday. And he passed a comment on that. Let's take a listen. I'll be back.
I'm still probing. I'm asking the legitimate questions. Why it went like that? You know that is under the Ministry of Trade.
Can't hear.
Because Leslie came to me personally. He wanted a land to move a dome. I gave him where this is the museum. There are other spaces around. Unfortunately, his dome is way too big that after getting the place to fix the dome, he was struggling with car park. And that is why he didn't take our land. So he took some steps to move. And so I thought they were in conversation until what I had last week. So we'll come back with the right answers. For now, I do not have them. So.
Okay, so that was Mark Okrekumanti, Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, responding to the issue yesterday.
Yes, so you realize that from Mark's submission, Leslie had been trying
before his contract
look for other alternatives where he could move the dome to. You know, and like he had already said, he had nearly secured a place too at Legon. Okay. So it looks like he had been trying hard to find other places where he could relocate to. Yeah. And that's what makes me sad because it's not easy. You heard what Mark said? Yeah. He said where he got him, his dome was way too big.
He wouldn't get a car park and the washrooms and all that.
He said he had nearly gotten. I heard him say he needed over how many acres?
Okay, let me go to him now. Yeah. He's back online. Leslie, can you hear me? Hello, Leslie. Hello. Okay, let's try to reconnect with Leslie. It appears his line isn't smooth for the conversation now. We get to speak to him again. Now, let me come to you, Baba Sadiq Baba. So you listened to what Mark said, which means that there was an attempt, there was a move to help him find a place.
Yeah, even before his contract, ends. The contract ended last year, December 31st. Even before that, he had been looking for a place to move it. And I know there's been correspondence. There's been the trade fair management were aware that, and he had explained that he was looking for a space to move it to, So what happened was not necessary. It was as if somebody was angry and emotive, and then the person just went and said, go, just go and break everything else. And then that's what I wanted to address. That's what we've been speaking about, that these things is not proper. Particularly when the same management and their board had been involved in a similar action prior. So this was needless. And the dome could be dismantled. If you had gone to dismantle it, that's fine. But they went in with all the equipment that was in, cameras, light equipment, sound, staging, and everything. And Kwame, he behind the dome, inside the dome, he had created a tennis arena in collaboration with the Ghana Tennis Federation. Yeah, that's what they did. And it was one of the places that saved the government when they needed a place for the All Africa Games tennis.
So it obviously didn't happen.
Yeah, the what?
The tennis. It obviously
it happened. It started happening. It happened.
That's where they played it.
That's where they played the tennis. All Africa
before the dismantling.
Yes, they played it. So you could see that right after when we were ended, then they went in and then dismantled it.
Oh,
how do you do that?
I see.
Wow. Let me speak to. Okay, Leslie's back online. Let's get to him now. Leslie.
Yes.
Great. Okay, we're back online now. So I was asking the payment model for the lease. How was it like? Were you paying yearly?
We're paying on a monthly basis.
Monthly.
After the COVID, went to a quarterly model with the trade fair.
Did you have to pay a certain amount of money before it was given to you?
No. We just had agreed on a monthly fee and a quarterly. And the reason is because they were also charging me per event. to use the parking lot for parking. So I had a parking fee which I had to pay after every event. So outside of my monthly fee, I pay a fee after each event for parking.
Would you want to share how much you paid every month?
I mean, I don't think it's necessary, but it's all the documents are out there for anyone to see, but I would not want to share it.
Did you ever owe any money before the demolition?
Oh, absolutely not. So just to be clear, and I had someone say that they haven't heard that the fantasy don't even exist for a while. That's because for the last year and a half, I've actually not been able to hold any events per se, because based on the redevelopment, they dug holes and mounds of sand all around me. And it's virtually impossible to hold or even market or invite anyone to have any kind of events that would have people wearing nice clothes to come to, because it's almost a construction zone. And that's one of my motivations to want to leave here as soon as possible. But there's been some kind of a new messaging out there that says I didn't want to leave. I'm a businessman. I haven't worked for almost a year and a half. That makes no sense. Well, what am I waiting for? I mean, the only reason I couldn't leave was because I couldn't find the land. I've tried everything possible to find 4 to 5 acres in the central district of Accra, which is the right space to have the right event space, and it's been a challenge until obviously the University of Legon came with the help of the LOC, which were trying to move for them to hold their indoor games in, which obviously didn't happen or didn't work out until this happened, obviously. But I've been tirelessly out there looking for space, looking for land that would accommodate my size. It's a very large structure and has a very large supporting facilities. So I needed to have the adequate space to do it.
Was there any clause in the agreement that you would have to vacate the premises anytime there was the need for redevelopment?
Yes. So in most government leases for government space, there's a redevelopment clause. And in my lease, the redevelopment clause is very simple. It said they had to give me 6 months' notice before redevelopment starts. And after 6 months, they would have to reallocate me within the trade fair. And this is the part of the story that they're not saying, right? So the lease accommodated that after 6 months' notice, they had to give me a space within the trade fair to move. So,
and that is in the agreement. That is in the agreement.
That's in the agreement, correct. So the first problem was that when they gave me notice, which was a year and a half ago, when they started digging all around me, initially the first letter gave me 30-day notice, which was obviously erroneous. So I brought that to their attention. Then they went back and then gave me a 6 month notice. But they didn't accommodate the second half of that agreement, which is that give me space within the trade fair. So 6 months went by, and I asked them, so where am I moving to? Which at that time was practical because I only had a year left on my lease. So they had to accommodate me in another space for a year before my lease ended. And clearly, if the whole trade fair is under redevelopment and the whole trade fair you're digging up, where would you put me? And if there was a place to put me with a year left, why would you just let me stay where I am because of all the investment I've made to be here? It made absolutely no financial or humane sense to want to relocate me, which, by the way, they never, ever, and I want them to prove it, if they ever offered me space and where the space was. They never, ever told me, Leslie, that space in X space or X location is where you can relocate. They never, ever did that.
Leslie, per your own findings, did you see any space available?
No, I did not. Because there was no space available. They're redeveloping the whole trade fair. Right? So it wasn't practical. So what I ended up saying to them was, you know what? Just let me stay where I am until the end of my lease. Right? I mean, forget the millions of dollars I already invested just to be here. I'll leave. But let me remain here until the end of the lease. Because clearly there's nowhere to send me to, but it would make no sense to have to spend another $2 million just on the ground alone because for a year left on my lease. And so they said, oh, well, then you have to leave. Well, that's not practical because my lease accounted for me to be here at least within the trade fair until the end of my term. And that's when I guess the problem started. So they started digging all around me, making it impossible to do business, just frustrating me. So what they did successfully is for the year and a half, they made sure I couldn't work. So they blocked my revenue stream, right? And also made it clear that there was no compensation to leave. But then they demanded that I left, which wasn't practical. And that was the issue that I started having with the CEO of the trade fair. Is you want me to leave, you're not compensating me to leave before my term, you're not giving me space to move within the trade fair, which is what the lease called for, and then you block my ability to make money to move. I mean,
Leslie, did you complain to them regarding the holes they dug around the dome? Did you tell them about it?
Absolutely.
What was their response?
That I had to leave. Every letter stated that based on the redevelopment, they would ignore what my request was. I even wrote them a letter requesting to be part of the redevelopment. I said, look, I've invested $5 million plus. Tell me you want me to spend another $1 million to put glass over it or make it LED screens on top of it because it's worth it. Because if I leave here, I'll lose at least $3 million in sunk costs. You know, and I know you don't have to care about that, but any business person or any well-meaning government that wants an event center to do well should care, right? And the letters will come back and say, well, you have to leave, and you have to leave, which was not practical at that time.
Leslie, is there any clause in the agreement which says that you would have recompense or compensation in the event that you are relocated?
No. The clause, the lease did not specify any compensation for relocation within the trade fair, no.
Okay, there is a school of thought that perhaps after 8 notices, you could have dismantled the facility, placed it somewhere until you had a place to mount it.
Well, you're right. And just to be clear, that was the intent. Unfortunately, sometimes you need to go where you're going to go before you know where you're going to store it, right? It's very important. A lot of my equipment is very complex. The dome is a very complex structure. So I'll give you an example. To dismantle it, I need the engineers that built it from China, right, to come in, 4 or 5 of them for a couple of weeks to do that job, right? But then I need to also move to the new location for them to reassemble it, right? So, you know, remember, I'm not being allowed to make any money because they've shut me down to some extent by digging all around me. I'm not being compensated. So I have to find a new place with my own funds. And then I have to also transport all these engineering teams around to dismantle it and reassemble it. So my aim was just to find a place to go to, right? And hopefully before the end of the term. And I tried very hard to do that. And that's why towards the end of my term, I wrote them a letter and said, just give me an extra 60 days. All right? I'm always close to completion with my lease arrangement with the University of Ghana through UJL. I mean, we had come to finally some good terms. Give me 60 days. Let me finalize that so I can just pick up and move over there so it can be reassembled by the same engineering team instead of having to fly them back and forth to China because it's an actual cost that I'm bearing anyway. She came back and said no. The trade fair said no. We're not going to give you an extra 60 days. And actually on January 1st, we're going to put a padlock. And that's exactly what they did. They put a padlock on my gate. So everyone says to me, well, you've had 60 days. Why don't you move? Well, I brought in a container to start moving my stuff. They padlocked my gate. How am I supposed to move my stuff? How am I supposed to even put stuff in the container? I mean, yes, I had security personnel because I have millions of dollars of equipment here who just made sure no one stole anything. But in terms of moving, how can I move out if you padlock my gate? And that's what necessitated my decision to go to file a writ, an injunction application, which I was granted because I needed access to remove my stuff and also needed enough time to move my stuff out. So this whole time I've just been waiting for them to show up to court so that we could do the right stuff and get the court case completed.
Leslie, so you wrote a letter to the trade fair on 27th December requesting for an extension of lease to enable removal of tent structure. And permit me to read a bit of it. It says, we wish to formally request a 60-day extension of the lease that expires on 31st December 2023 to enable the removal of business property. We have commenced with the removal of our property from the location, but as communicated earlier, we have contracted the tent manufacturer's engineers to fly in to aid in the dismantling of the structure, but unfortunately, we were not able to find airline seats to Accra for December as all flights are fully booked. However, we have managed to book a seat for the experts for the middle of January 2024. Based on the technical complexity of the structure resulting in the reliance on their technical expertise and the vast investment in the projects of over $5 million, we have to wait for their presence for the decommissioning of the massive built-in temporary structure. We are still working in parallel and have begun removing materials from the property not lied to the structure. We are estimate that the structure would be completely removed from the site within the 60-day window requested. We count on your cooperation and understanding in these difficult times and apologize for any inconvenience caused. Leslie Quino, CEO, Fantasy Entertainment Limited. And there was a response to that. Let me get to read that to you. Joy 99.7 FM. There was a response to that. Trying to get that to read to you now. Joy, Showbiz A to Z. You can send in your messages now 055-11-11997. Having a conversation on the Fantasy Dome demolition. How do we invest in venues in Ghana? How do we create a congenial environment for that business to thrive? Now, let me read a response from the Ghana Trade Fair Company Limited, which is dated 28th December, a day after he sent in his. This is dated 28th December 2023 and says, we acknowledge receipt of your letter dated 27th December 2023 with the above subject, which is request for extension of lease to enable the removal of tent structure. We refer to our letters dated 6th June 2022, July 15, 2022, July 22nd, 2022, January 3, 2023, April 20, 2023, December 26, 2023. Meetings and verbal communications with you on the above subject. As evidenced in each of the letters, the Trade Fair Company Limited has given you ample notice in accordance with the clauses of your tenancy agreement. It's been 18 months since your first notice to vacate. Due to the location of your tent and your refusal to vacate your premises, the construction of the on-site infrastructure has halted, which has caused a 6-month delay in the project. Given the above, we regret to inform you that your request for extension cannot be granted. We reiterate that the entire site is under construction, including your premises, and unsafe to continue to occupy the premises as the works will cause damage to your tent. We wish to stress that you will no longer have access to the premises after December 31st, 2023. Please be mindful of any property left behind after the above stated date, as it will be demolished. It will be demolished to allow works to continue. Counting on your prompt cooperation. Sincerely, Dr. Agnes Edu, CEO, Ghana Trade Fair Company Limited. I don't know if Leslie is still on phone. Leslie,
yes, I'm here.
I hope you heard me read both letters.
Absolutely, and this is great because this is what prompted my filing for the writ and application for injunction. Because in that letter, she not only denied me the 60 days, but she told me I no longer have access to my business to even move my stuff out. right? With 2 days left, right? And so I had no choice but to go to court, which is what any law-abiding citizen should do. And that's why that granted the writ. And obviously, they avoided being served, and they were finally served through substituted service on March 7th, which we have evidence through video. And they were aware that day through the courts that there was an application for injunction that we all had to go to court on April 18th, but they still went ahead and destroyed my property under the protection of national security men with guns.
Okay. A moment, let me play a conversation we had with the CEO of the Ghana Trade Fair Company Limited, Dr. Agnes Edu, and then I'll get back to you, Leslie. Joy 99.7 FM, we're still having a conversation on investing in event venues in Ghana on the back of the demolition of the Fantasy Dome, which took place last week, Saturday. Leslie Quino is CEO of Fantasy Entertainment, and he is on phone now. I'm playing to you now a conversation that we had, or an interview that we had with the CEO of the Ghana Trade Fair Company Limited, Dr. Agnes Edu.
May I know what necessitated the demolition of the Fantasy Dome?
Yeah, okay, thank you, Kwame. Basically, the redevelopment of the Trade Fair Center, as we know, has been ongoing for some time. So the Fantasy Dome and all previous tenants had been given notice to vacate. The Fantasy Dome was the lone person holding out and refusing to move. So after about 18 months of consistently giving notices to the owners of the Fantasy Dome, the company and the developers, we have no choice but to dismantle so that we can continue the work in the area.
But I've cited an injunction from the High Court dated 12 January 2024, and this bars anyone from pulling down the Fantasy Dome. Did you know about this injunction?
No, let me categorically say that the Ghana Trade Fair Company Limited has not been served with any court process, right? I'm not sure what you have cited, but there are company secretaries that are listed at the company's registry. I am CEO. The company has an address, and none of us have been served with any notices or any court processes at all.
Has Leslie spoken to you after the demolition? Has he reached out to you after the demolition? I'm talking about the CEO of Fantasy Entertainment.
Has he reached out to me personally?
Not personally, as in the company.
No.
Okay, because we saw a video of him and one journalist, Sammy Flex, a few days ago, and I was wondering if maybe he had contacted the company after.
The Fantasy Dome, the CEO of the Fantasy Entertainment, has not contacted the Trade Fair Company before, during, after, and even up to this point that I'm speaking to you, Kwame. We have not been contacted.
Okay. Please, when was the contract between Fantasy Entertainment and the company signed? When did you go into that agreement?
Sure. So the agreement, it was a tenancy agreement, and it was signed in January of 2018 for a 5-year term. And
okay.
Then it expired on December 31st, 2023.
Okay. Well, was there any provision for renewal of the tenancy?
No. And let me explain a little bit about that tenancy.
Please do.
Yeah. So in the tenancy agreement, it's a tenancy agreement that has a beginning and an ending date.
Okay.
But beyond that, tenancy also has covenants, right? If you make too much noise in your apartment where you live, I'm sure your landlord will put a covenant in there saying that you shouldn't be nuisance to your neighbor. So you can imagine that we also have covenants. Not even that, we do put covenants governing when redevelopment starts.
Okay.
What do we do, right? So in the tenancy agreement between Trade Fair Company and the Fantasy Entertainment, we gave a 6-month notice that at any point when redevelopment starts, you, the tenants, you will be given, or Fantasy Entertainment will be given a 6-month notice, right, to vacate the site. This is an important, long overdue project successive governments have attempted to redevelop trade fair, it is under this current administration that finally the trade fair has been able to be revived and successfully pull off this major aggressive redevelopment. So we make sure that all tenancy agreements have these clauses in it. The other clauses that were in there also stipulate that do not develop anything permanent there, because within 6 months you need to be able to move it. And that when we demolish or you are dismantling your premises, it will be at your own cost. Nobody will help you, or there's no compensation that will be paid. So that is also in there. But beyond that, we've gone above and beyond the covenant of the tenancy agreement. So let me give you some specific dates. Right?
Okay.
The first notice of our intent to recover the premises, giving him that mandatory 6-month notification as per his tenancy agreement and also as per the Rental Act. We gave that notice in June of 2022.
Okay.
All right, in June of 2022. We are sitting now in March of 2024. So that's how long it's been since we have attempted repeatedly to get the structure to be removed. So let me give you the other notices that also went out. So further notices were also served on the Fantasy Entertainment, the CEO of the Fantasy Dome, July 15th of 2022, July 22nd of 2022, January 3rd of 2023, February 11th of 2023, April 20th of 2023, December 26th of 2023, and finally December 28th of 2023. So it will be far-fetched to say that today or Saturday is the first day that Fantasy Entertainment is becoming aware that its tenancy agreement has come to an end. Right? So, like I said, we have been very accommodated. I will even give you one example. One example that I'll give you is in August of 2022, all these efforts to try to get him to move, he even petitioned the Minister of Trade, who gave him 4 months, right? That we should allow him to serve out his tenancy agreement. Also, there are clauses that says we can give him 6 months. So, of course, we bent over backwards so that he can get to the end. So I even assured him that he will be leaving by the end of his tenancy agreement. And that was December of 2023, December 31st, 2023. We are sitting another 3 months, you get, after the expiration of his tenancy. So this important project has basically been halted. It's been stalled because the Fantasy Entertainment and the Fantasy Dome structure, the owners simply refused to remove it. And it's been months and months and months of delay. So, like I said, the company myself, CEO, I'm not aware. I haven't discussed anything. I'm not aware of anything. The developers are on site working. So it's not the CEO's fault to go and do anything. It's been handed over to developers.
All right, Joe 99.7 FM, we just heard the CEO of the Ghana Trade Fair Company Limited, Dr. Agnes Edu, there in that interview, which was recorded earlier. Leslie. Hello, Leslie. Are you on?
Yes, I'm on.
Okay, so Dr. Edu says that she didn't see any injunction. She didn't receive any injunction.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll let you finish your thought.
Okay, Dr. Edu says she didn't receive any injunction.
Well, that's not accurate. And actually, I just want to make a comment of our interview. She started the call by saying that they dismantled the Fantasy Dome. And this is a word that is being used by some mouthpieces of, where they're pretty much where they lie. But this is not a dismantling. I mean, I wish she dismantled my investment, because I'll still have, millions of dollars of investment that I could relocate. She completely destroyed and distracted my investment, and in doing so, destroyed and distracted the entertainment business in Ghana. So for words to be used such as dismantling is extremely disingenuous and very disheartening, because you can't destroy someone's infrastructure, demolish someone's infrastructure without any due process. I mean, did she inform me she was going to do this? I mean, writing somebody a letter to leave is not the same as showing up with national security to completely destruct and destroy their property. But back to the injunction. As is pretty clear, the injunction was filed as soon as she wrote me that letter in which she made clear that she wasn't going to allow me the extension, and they put a padlock on my gate. I filed it the first week of January. It was granted, at least a writ, and they've been trying to serve them since January 12th. They evaded service for a whole month. I mean, every time the bailiffs will show up to the trade fair offices, they will say that she's not in. It's a project office, every excuse. My lawyers finally went back to court to apply for substituted service, which they received the first week of February, a whole month after the first application for writ of summons and an injunction application. We filed that, but the judge granted it, and on March 7th, a bailiff showed up to the trade fair location and pasted the application for an injunction and the writ of summons, which prevented them from destroying and demolishing my property on the walls right by the security post. They always have 3 or 4 security men every day, 24/7, and someone definitely saw it, which is about 10 meters from her office, which sits right by the gate of the trade fair. So for her to claim that she's not aware of the injunction and it was never served on her is not true. As far as the courts of Ghana and the laws of Ghana are concerned, through substituted service, she's been served. And the trade fair was duly served on March 7, 2024. So for them to propagate this demolition by use of force on March 18th is actually very unlawful, especially a country that wants to respect injunction applications. I believe the president has made it clear that we have to respect injunctions and injunction applications. So I don't know why the trade fair company does not want to do that.
Leslie, there is also this story that says that you had an illegal source of electric power.
This is amazing that someone destroys your property and then they want to feed the media through their mouthpiece stories such as that. I've actually not wanted to respond to that because they want me to do that so to keep the story going. ECG is still doing an investigation. I've been to the office, and pretty soon the report is going to come out. To be honest with you, how do you accuse anyone of stealing electricity when you've completely demolished their property and there's no power? I mean, I'll be very interested to find out how ECG was able to measure power or whatever was being claimed. I myself have a 500 kVA transformer which I purchased to install at the trade fair. I have 200 kVA gensets which I use for all my events. I categorically, I've never done any kind of illegal connection or even any other stuff being propelled by these mouthpieces trying to support distracting my property. And it's actually very inhumane that in such a time, and we're going through so much, people will just stick such stories out there. I mean, it's completely not true. But more importantly, it's sad that the Ghana Trade Fair has to propel such stories about electricity. I mean, you've destroyed a whole entertainment behemoth, and you want to talk about electricity being stolen? For the 5 years that I was here, ECG doesn't know I was stealing electricity? Really? Come on. I mean,
do you
have
think,
to know when dust is being thrown in your
Do you
eye.
think it's the trade fair company that's behind that story?
Well, let me give you an example. Before I received the letter from the project out from ECG, which was handed through national security, through the trade fair security to me, the picture was already on Asasi radio. So how do I, the person that's supposed to be handed that notice, be reading about it on Asasi.com? How's that possible? Tell me about that.
Well, Leslie, please stay on for us for a while. Let me go to the panel and then come back to you again. We also have on the phone line, on Zoom, Kojo Poku, who is CEO for Big Ideas Consult. He's joining the conversation. You can also join in with your thoughts. 055-1111-997. Showbiz A to Z. My name is Kwame Dadzie. Show brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go, Superstar multi-food drink. The show is produced by Philip Nye with assistance from Anita Tai. We have Olivier Fangnon on social media. We are streaming live on Facebook and also live on www.manjoyonline.com. In the studio, I have Kojo Prekodankwa, who is convener for FOCAP. Baba Sadiq is founder, 3 Music Networks and a Widerland Festival, and Uncle Ken is a broadcaster. Let me start with you, Kojo Prekodankwa. So with all that we've said, Uncle Ken, you have a question before I go on? Okay. Yes, sir.
Is Leslie still on?
He's on.
Okay. Leslie.
Yes, I'm here.
Leslie, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
And commiserations on all that's happened. Something does not sit right with me. How long, Leslie, did you say it takes to dismantle and assemble the dome?
To dismantle it would have taken maybe 2 weeks to a month, and to reassemble it roughly around the same time. The difference is the preparation that you have to make, right? You have to make sure the ground is set. You have to do a foundation. You have to let it set. So that's why the reassembly will take a little more time. But the disassembly shouldn't take more than 2 weeks to 30 days.
Oh, okay. So within the confines of the lease that you had, that 6 months that they were supposed to give you to move from one location to the other would have been enough for you?
Absolutely.
Would have been. Did you ever move once you had signed that 5-year lease?
Can you ask the last part of the question? Did I ever move? I just want to make sure I hear the question correctly.
Was that clause ever effected once you had signed the lease? Did you move from your present location to another within the length of your lease?
No, I did not. And honestly, the 18 month prior or the 15 month prior to the end of my lease was when they wrote me a letter requesting that I leave immediately. And during that period of time, I was expecting them to come back and say, well, here's your notice, which you have 6 months, but this is the location that you can move to, right? And my response would have been, okay, fine. I'll move there. Although it makes no sense, but that's what the lease called for. But they waited for the 6 months to end, and then they came back with a year left to say, well, now you have to leave. And that's when I said, whoa, you never told me where to move to. And they said, no, there's nowhere to move to. We on the whole site. You got to leave. And I said, well, that's not what the lease said. You need to give me 6 months notice and give me a place to move to until the another term. But since there's only a year left, just let me stay where I am.
Okay.
Doesn't make any sense to move.
Okay. Now, have you decided with your lawyers your next line of action yet?
Well, we are still discussing it, but they are clearly in contempt of a court injunction application.
Okay.
I mean, clearly. So, I mean, the lawyers will figure out what the next steps are. But it's very important that we stay on top of this story because it's not just for Leslie or Fantasy Entertainment. It's for every investor that wants to put millions of dollars to support this industry. To know that nobody with guns will show up and destroy their property and the court will not support them, especially if they've done the right thing by the law.
So while going to court, would you want to claim compensation for the demolition?
To be absolutely honest, I haven't even thought about compensation. And the problem is, I'm a businessman. How am I going to feed my family next week, next month?
That's why you should claim compensation.
But I'm not going to get it next week or next month. Right? How do I run a business that is completely destroyed? What do I do for the next year? What do I do for the next 2 years? I mean, this is an investment. Compensation is not how you're supposed to run a business. Laws are how you're supposed to run a business. The law should do the right thing and should hold people responsible. Compensation may come or may never come. But that's not my priority. My priority is to safeguard this industry, safeguard businesses that do things right by going to court and getting injunction applications, which the government or anyone else should adhere to, and not completely discard and use national security to destroy people's property.
Yeah.
Or under the protection of national security.
Unfortunately, Leslie, the law grinds slowly. We all know that. We don't accept it, but that's what happens. So you still need to utilize that angle.
Absolutely. I'll listen to my attorneys when it comes to that. I'm just, on a personal level, I just don't want people to think that's my aim or that's what I want.
Okay.
Well, what I want is equitable distribution. But I also want the law to be fair to businesses or investors that spend their life-earned savings in an industry that they want to support. And they can next be within an hour using 4 bulldozers be destroyed just like that. And nobody cares. And I think that's my priority before we get to the compensation part, which my lawyers will get to too.
We wish you well, Leslie.
Thank you.
Okay. Kojo, what does this mean to the creative arts industry?
Kwame, seriously speaking, listening to both sides and the letters you read and all that, this is barbaric. This is sheer wickedness. This is uncalled for. It is bad, and we need to condemn it. Listen, if you really want to take somebody off where you think you don't need him, you don't tie the person's hands and still tell the person that, listen, slap me or do something to me. You had an interview with, I want to start with the letters. You read a 60-day letter from Leslie. You did well by calling the CEO of Trade Fair to confirm certain things. In her answers to you, listen, she should also know better. Listen, she said to you that they told Leslie that they would
demolish.
No, in the interview.
Oh, okay.
She used the word.
I used demolished. She used dismantle.
And then she used dismantled.
Okay.
If it's not diabolic, the intentions, you have even saved him by using the right word dismantle. And she went,
I used demolish. She used dismantled.
Now, letters that were signed by her is using words demolish. Is she telling her that she didn't even read the letter that she took or she gave to Leslie? Because in the letter you have stated that you would demolish the place, not even dismantle. That is sheer wickedness. How do you do that? Again, we should learn the trade. The man in the trade tells you that I need to get experts to come dismantle the thing. You who is not an expert is giving time and not listening to the expert. Now, the explanation that Leslie gave, any human being, correct human being, will understand what Leslie is saying. To the extent that he told you that they didn't even get flight or seat for the said people who are coming to do it. What else again do you want Leslie to do? Again, when Leslie took the land, Leslie just told all of us that he needed to do too many things on the ground. Because it's an event site, people will jump, people will do things. We are the same people who will come back to say that the place is not correct. It cracked. Now he's picking up another venue somewhere. Listen, investment is going to go into that particular place. The land, digging, getting laterites, getting all those things to be established. So can't we just sit down and sit on table to understand people's profession and areas where they are? If it is not an agenda to destroy, then I don't know what else you want us to. Because if you have a clean heart, you would have chosen your choice of words well when you're writing your letters and even giving answers to journalists. And I think that, seriously speaking, I cry for the creative arts industry. For us not to even have lands to to even lease for our own people to even construct. I mean, I listened to Mark, and he says that, listen, what we give him, his dome cannot even, that tells us that we don't have an event industry in this country. Because then the capacity we're looking for, that's the more reason why then we are now limited to a $600,000 amphitheaters, 10,000, 20,000. That's the more reason why, again, they will even come out to come and tell us that even what events do we have for us to even have such capacities. Do you understand? I mean, it is sad for the industry. It is something that, for me, we shouldn't let it pass by like that. We need to get into this space and see justice for Leslie, whichever way it is. Whether you give him 10,000 letters, whatever it is, you have locked the place and you are telling him to come and take, his things out. How does he do that? How? If it's not wickedness, what else are you trying to do?
Baba, if you were the CEO of the Trade Fair Center, what would be your solution? What would you have done when the lease had ended?
I don't have to be the CEO of Trade Fair Center to be reasonable. To apply wisdom. This required wisdom, reasonability. The CEO and their board had acted with impunity and recklessness for some time. These guys had behaved as if they answered to no one. And this is not the first time. The person had written to you some days before the end of the lease. You are written back to him some days before the end of the lease. And from the same letter you wrote to him on 27th, you had actually indicated to him immediately that he cannot even have access to the place. It lacks wisdom and sense. And I'm sure that's one of the things. Look, it's not about appointment doesn't have to require education alone. And if you see the way she's been dealing and haggling with Leslie over time, you can understand that, one, she's not reasonable, she lacks wisdom, she lacks emotional intelligence.
Isn't that too harsh?
Because that is actually what it is.
These descriptions are a bit harsh.
Kwame, it is actually what it is. People close, you should speak to her management, they'll tell you. And even from the board, they'll tell you. So this is what it is. We cannot say it less. Let me just
disagree with her approach, but to use those words, I think that these are harsh words.
In my opinion, you could educate yourself from me. In my opinion, it is actually what it is, because this is very reasonable. And look, the Trade for Authority sits under the Ministry of Trade. The Ministry of Trade is supposed to be that key state what's it called, ministry or agency that fosters trade and commerce in the country, and also encourages investment into the country. And so here is the case where you've not made certain investment in an industry over time, over 8 years. In fact, you don't have any significant activity or action you've done to encourage growth in the sector. Then there comes somebody who decides that, well, in your absence or for your lack of doing it, I'm going to actually come in and make all the necessary investments. What do you do in this particular instance when you are faced with such a problem? You look at it and see that, okay, the creative industry, there are a lot of opportunities. There's a reason why trade, tourism, and its allied industry is attached to tourism, and its allied industry is attached to trade at the committee level in Parliament. There's a reason, because there's a certain connectivity to it. So in this particular instance, you look at it, you think through it, and say, well, what will you do if you give him some of these days? For me, look, Bryce Simon says something just days ago when he spoke about the fact that the trade fair, which accounts to no one, he believes that the insider trading, right, where the land had been shared to people in concessions, is what is actually driving some of these activities. Because, Kwame, like I said to you, I believe that in 9 months till they are leaving, because whether you like it or not, this particular board and the CEO, I don't think would stay. I mean, beyond whatever it is, their tenure would elapse after the 9 months anyway, regardless of whatever happens, right? I'm saying to you, I do not see anything significant happening there, except that they are going to give the land to somebody. That part, they are going to give it as a concession to somebody. That is what is actually driving this, nothing else. Okay. Because, I mean, how do you? And I have noticed how she's dealt with Leslie even before. How there was a point in time when she wrote to Leslie that after he had renovated the Grand Pavilion, and the Fantasy Dome was there. Initially before work had started, or after a few months after we started, there were people that were coming to the trade fair directly to want to book the place, and she came in trying to bully Lexley regarding it. To say, okay, well, going forward, we're going to take in the gigs, and we're going to pay you what we think is due you, regardless of whatever we charge. And then he had to push back, and she didn't quite like that. I remember because I did a post on it, and then I know how she chided Leslie on it in the particular meeting and all of that. But Kwame, essentially, when you look at this, when you look at what he had written to you, if you understand that we lack venues in the country, the last 2 major events that was done by gospel artists were done in the churches. How about secular events? I know there are different types of event centers, but nobody can deny the impact of the Fantasy Dome, the impact that it brings to the industry, and the loss that will be occasioned to industry as a result of it going down. What's going to happen if Shatawale decides that he wants to fill a bigger indoor venue now for a concert? Where will he do it? The Grand Arena is relatively smaller. The conference center is small. Then the National Theatre has all its issues. Recently, when George Quay did this, what's it called? Stage show there last year in December. We know what happened.
Was another play?
Yes.
Okay.
You know what happened when there was a mad rush for tickets on some of the few days or second days.
Yeah.
There was no space for anybody else. Which means that we still require a relatively bigger place.
Exactly.
We don't have it. We know the impact that it has on the industry. And so if you have the understanding of all of this, why then do you go about this? This clearly reflects the fact that there doesn't seem to be any proper thought leader within government circles today relative to the industry. There isn't. Somebody that drives the cohesion between, or the cooperation between different organizations to achieving the state's aim of enabling industry. There isn't. And this reflects it.
Well, Baba, let me state this: Joy FM and Showbiz HZ and the producers, we dissociate ourselves from the statement, the words you use to describe Dr.
I'm comfortable with describing her as that she lacks reasonability and she lacks wisdom in the way she approached this.
Thank you. Some of your thoughts are here. Let me read them quickly, and then we proceed.
I'm fine.
Yeah, you've been sending in your messages. You can send 05511119997. Let me get to read your messages now. Okay. In the meantime, though, are you ready for a blast of your lifetime? Yeah. Are you ready for that? Then get ready to be part of the newest and the ultimate game show on Joy Prime this April. Family Arena is fun, tricky, diverse, and hilarious, and will blow your mind. So join the train and win cash and amazing prizes. To participate, send your family name and your first names of your team members to our WhatsApp number 05515757757. For details, Family Arena coming soon on Joy Prime, your ultimate TV experience. Now, Trust Sports Emporium presents Easter Fest 24. Join us on April 1st, 2024. The Trust Sports Emporium Bukum Boxing Arena for Easter Fest 2024. Headlined by Funny Face. It's a day of laughter and family fun. Activities include bouncy castle, free health screening, face painting, Easter egg hunt, various games, live performances. Tickets are selling for single 40 cedis. Family or group of 5, 150 cedis. Don't miss out on this exciting event. Call us on 0599 745 705 and get your tickets now. Hey there, tech titans and business champions are thinking about the next step in business evolution, wondering how this next step affects your actual business advantage. You're in luck because MTN is hosting the second edition of the exclusive MTN Business CTIO Roundtable. And this invite-only event is your chance to mingle with industry rockstars, real data gurus, and AI wizards who will be sharing their battle-tested strategies to unlock the power of data and AI for your business's growth. So the MTN CTIO Roundtable 2024 is scheduled for Wednesday, March 27, 9 a.m. sharp. Wednesday, March 27, 9 a.m. at the stunning Labadi Beach Hotel. Sports are limited, so for enquiries call 0543-669-175 or 0543-872-212. Let's turn data into your ultimate business weapon. We'll see you there, yeah? Joy 99.7 FM. Yes, sir. Your messages here. This is Wicked and Evil. Bright from East Legon. This one says, good afternoon, Kwame and your guests. This is unjustifiable. He is a Ghanaian businessman, for Christ's sake. What is wrong with this country and our leaders? I am so disgusted. I hope it's got nothing to do with their useless politics. Abena in Oyibi. Kwame, how do they serve notice to dismantle the dome within the validity of the lease? The person paid for the period to be on the land, so that move has to come at the end or right after the expiration, unless they will compensate him for the months lost for moving early. All they had to do was to give him 3 months after the expiration of the lease. This is just messy. Please call a lawyer to educate us, Fidel. So according to the contract, and as Leslie told us, they agreed that they could ask him to relocate anytime they wanted, and so that was part of the agreement from the outset. Yeah, Kojo Poku is CEO of Big Ideas Consult, and he has joined us on Zoom. Kojo, good evening, good afternoon.
Hi, good evening, Kwame. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm good.
I trust you've been following the conversation and you're actually up to speed with all that has happened regarding the Fantasy Dome.
Very well.
What does this mean to the creative arts or the entertainment industry?
It's rather unfortunate. I mean, I think that I was one of the very first people that Leslie shared this dream of owning an event venue some over 10 years ago, when we were doing an event that Leslie had put together. I remember, quite frankly, when we did this Mobile concerts at the Accra Sports Stadium, and in Leslie's car, Leslie opened his laptop to share this plan with me that he had to bring in a tent to be able to host an indoor event, because at that time there was no Grand Arena, there was no indoor venue. The only indoor venue was the other dome at the conference center, which had been locked down for reasons I don't even know. But it's very, very unfortunate that this had to happen, and I think that the two parties could have sat at the table to iron things out so that, it would have been a win-win for everybody. The Trade Fair Center gets to develop into what the plan is, and then also the dome could have been sent to another venue so that we could have continued to make use of it, knowing very well that we already lack, the space. I was one of the very first people to have events there at the dome, and we have had several events there as well. And so it's rather unfortunate that this had to happen, but I think that we should try and salvage the situation, pick pieces together, and move the infrastructure from where it is to another place, so that we can.
Kojo, are you talking about the demolished materials? How do you make use of them?
I don't know the extent of damage done, but I'm just talking purely from a loss point of view to the industry, the loss to the industry, because we are already suffering from the lack of entertainment and event spaces. I mean, whenever people reach out to me from all over the world looking for event spaces, we are always limited to outdoor spaces, because if anyone wants to bring in any international act right now, they are looking for any place that can seat anything more than 10,000. And we don't have anything like that in this country, apart from the Fantasy Dome, which had the capacity. I remember when we did the Rain concert with Shatawale, we were able to pack in about 10,000 people in that venue. And it's just rather unfortunate that this had to happen. And I really, really wish that the Trade Fair Company and the management of Fantasy Entertainment could sit at the round table and see how they can move the conversation so that it's a win-win for everyone, even though the damage has been done.
Kojo, do you think this could discourage people from investing in that space of our industry?
Already we are lacking because people don't have a clear understanding of our industry. I mean, if somebody had 5 million in Ghana right now, the last thing the person wants to think of is building an event center. They will go into real estate, they will go into fishing, they will go into trading, getting a shop at Makola, getting some stores at East Legon, getting some restaurants, getting a license from somebody who owns a pharmacy degree to be able to own a pharmacy shop. There are so many things that people can do with their 5 million, and they will not think of entertainment. So it's sad that if somebody has been able to sink in such an investment, it will go that way. But I just still think that there should be a consensus building between the two parties to see the way forward. Because when the trade fair comes back after the redevelopment project that is going on, it is still going to be an entertainment hub. And I will not stop talking about the fact that the single biggest policy that this government has brought, which is the year of return, is 100% driven by events. 100% driven by events. The number of people who come to this country every year coming to the events that we put together cannot be overstated. And so we have to try and encourage investment in that circle, and we have to cushion people. I am of the opinion that the same way that somebody wants to invest in agriculture and we give them lands and we give them tax-free holidays, that is the same way that we have to help people who want to do things in our industry. For instance, I will use George Quay as an example. George Quay started doing events at the National Theatre, and it won't be bad for George Quay's event to be tax-free for the next 5 years, so that he can use the investment, the income that he generates from that event to build on the success that he is chopping, so that he can go on to be able to do the events across the length and breadth of this country, and even outside. The goals are not to be blamed, can be done in other parts of Africa. But if we don't help the people who have made the initial investment to be able to sit and grow, then it becomes difficult for it to attract other people into the industry.
Great one.
So I am just sad that we had to talk about this right now. I just wish that more consensus building comes into play, and that we are able to salvage what is left of the demolition.
Kojo, so talking about venues, brings to mind the dome, the old dome at the conference center, and people keep asking why it is still there. Is it faulty? Is there anything wrong with it? Why has it not been used for so many years? Why is it still there, dirty on that compound? Do you know anything about it?
The little I know is that the old dome is owned by the Jospon Group, and as far back as I think, if my mind serves me right, about 2012 thereabouts, there was an AU conference. That was the first time that the dome was erected, and then there was an ANTAG conference that also happened there. And then after, it was open to the general public, and we made good use of it at that time. Unfortunately, I don't know the main reason why it was shut down, because it served us very, 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 very well. I can talk of a lot of, good event that was started from there.
Exactly.
You know, one that comes into mind very well was Rapaholic. The very first Rapaholic was done at that dome. And we've had the O2O Live by Vodafone. We've had Charterhouse Ghana Rock, which used to fill the place with about 5,000 people every year. And the VGMA there was much bigger because you could pack in a lot more people. And so on and so forth. I really don't know why it was shut down, but it just rather unfortunate that a very, very thriving industry like entertainment does not see the investment that it deserves. I am of the opinion that the only way that we can forge ahead in this industry is a PPP agreement. The same way that government is partnering with companies to do 1D, 1F across the length and breadth of this country, we should also consider entertainment venues, and government can come in and provide some form of incentives and cushioning for people who want to enter into this industry, to provide them with lands and other things so that it can make it easier for them to invest. So when one like this, which has already existed and has helped the industry for a while, gets taken down like this, it's something that we need to talk about. I don't know the nitty-gritty of the agreement, but I just think that it's not a very good thing for the industry, and that we should be able to find an amicable way to settle it, so that it doesn't
go
out there that you know, that people who want to come into Ghana, because the doors are open now from the year of return, from the beyond the return. There are a lot more people who are looking to invest in Ghana. Let's look at Global Citizen. Global Citizen happened 2 years ago, and they are coming back again this year with the Move Africa, and they want to create a path for people to be able to tour Africa easily. And that is the main purpose of the Move Africa.
Thank you. Could you let me move to Whitney now? Great. Could you point well made? Yeah. Point well made. You just please be on. Let me move to Whitney quickly. I'll come back to you later. Whitney Boakye Mensah is managing partner of Events Innovation WBM. I hope I got it right. Let me get it right before I get lashed. Whitney Boakye Mensah is a CEO of Events Innovation. Whitney, WBM.
Are you done?
Okay. Events Innovations WBM. Yeah, I got it. I'm very sharp. I'm very smart. I'm a shark, actually. Yeah. Whitney.
Yes, Kwame, how are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
I am well.
Great. And
for anybody heading towards the Legon side, they should find another route.
Oh, okay. I understand. The games, right?
Yep.
Wow. Okay, now let's talk about our event centers. You are an event planner. You've heard all the stories regarding this whole Fantasy Dome. And if you are looking at this critically with your event eye, what do you think this actually means to our industry, the creative art industry, with all that has happened?
Kwame, it's quite this sad end of the Fancy Dome. Like Kujo said, it will be very hard for the person to invest into this industry, knowing that
your line is terrible. Too bad.
Really?
Yeah, it's better now. Let's hear you.
Is it better?
Yeah, better now. Yeah.
Is it better?
It's better now.
The big question I have had to ask is if we could not have gone about this in a much better way. I mean, like everybody is saying, a dome can be dismantled. So why would they go this route, especially knowing that the said person is not somebody in fact.
Our line is not doing us any good, Whitney. I'm afraid the line is not smooth at all. It's not smooth at all. We're still on Joy 99.7 FM Showbiz A to Z. My name is Kwame Dadzie. We're having a conversation on event centers regarding the demolition of the Fantasy Dome. I have in the studio Uncle Ken, Baba Sadiq, Kutuprekwa Dankwa. On Zoom, we have Leslie Kwena, who is CEO of Fantasy Entertainment. Whitney Bwachi-Mensah is managing partner for Events Innovations, WBM. And we have Kojopoku, CEO of Big Ideas Consult, here on Joy 99.7 FM. Hey, Kwo. Adum FM, Asempa FM, and Adum TV bring you the 2024 Adum Kwo Easter themed Kwekwanansi edition. Kwekwanansi edition. The excitement starts from the Linda Door restaurant, Bunsu Junction, as we climb up the Kwo Mountain to Adum Park for cooking competitions, games, music, and fun. I mean, more fun. Starts on Thursday, 28th March. That's a Kwo Kwanso live from the Linda Door rest top, Bonsu Junction. On Friday, 29th March, Ofia Kwanso and Adom Kassier will be live from the Adom Park. We have the 590 Mobile Kid Soccer League. We have the Lavon's Cooking Competition. Ofia Dam Moswo live at Kwo. Saturday, 30th March, Kwo Easter Games at a bombing AstroTurf powered by 590 Mobile. On Kid, we have the Mega Street Bash at Adom Park with the Kasahari Soldiers, Amrado episode and more, powered by Obuasibitis. Sunday, 31st March, Champions of Champions March, 590 Mobile Kid Gala versus Asempa Kwo Games. Now follow our socials for the sights, sounds, and feel of Kwo Easter with the hashtag Adum Kwo Easter. The Adum Kwo Easter 2024 is sponsored by Lavon's Tomato Mix, Love Day Inside, Obuasi Betes, Enubina Wumankasa, Kid star 959 Ash, Adawun Sim, DBS Industrial Limited, The Roofing Experts. We have a Large Vision Eye Clinic, The Eye Doctor, No Surgery, Global Lightning, your solution to quality lighting, and Kania Papa Fie, Franco Trading Enterprise, Phone Papa Fie. Aye, Kwo. Easter is here again. Book your family trip with us this Easter holiday. Stay 2 nights and get the third night free with all meals inclusive, including dinner with live band every evening, starting from 5,100 Ghana cedis for a couple, and this from 29th March to 1st April 2024. Package offer guests free access to all in-house facilities, that's a swimming pool, gym, cinema with popcorn, board games, snooker, etc., a lot more. And more entertainment, so you also enjoy free airport pickup from Takoradi on weekends. Terms and conditions apply. Fun activities include tour of our beautiful facility with an electric golf carts, splash playground for kids, bouncy castle, trampoline, bicycle rides, quad bike rides, boat rides to Maha Village, jet ski, we have banana boat, party bus ride, trip to Nzulezu, etc. Maha Beach Resort is one-stop holiday destination for all. Families, couples, groups, private parties and weddings, honeymoon, and a lot more. We also cater for corporate events and conferences. So call for your reservations now to avoid disappointment. Landline is 0303977773 and mobile number is 0501570684 or 0501241114. All right, so Whitney is on again. Whitney, thanks for staying on with us again. So we were talking about what really this means to the creative industry. Please continue from where we left off.
Yeah, so I was saying that
it gives a very bad signal to any investor, especially when we are asking for more venues. We don't have enough venues, and we are crying that this is an issue, a major issue we have, and then this happened. I am just disappointed that this couldn't have been handled in a better way, especially when I saw you put up a video not too long ago, or was it last week when this happened?
Yeah.
Yes, I saw the video, and it doesn't look like it can even be salvaged. It's completely destroyed. That is where the pain is. That this thing, nothing can be done about it again, especially where they could have been dismantled and then take it somewhere. But to have it completely destroyed like that is quite a sad development. And I am hoping, Leslie says he's taking it, his lawyers are handling it now. But I am praying that, and I am hoping that nothing like this ever happens again, because we are not sending a good signal to any investor who is out there.
It's one there, Whitney Boakye-Mensah, hoping to have you in the studio next week. I understand you have a very tight schedule today. So a big thank you for your time this evening here on Joe 99.7 FM Showbiz A to Z. Still here with my big people. We have Uncle Ken, Baba Sadiq, Kojupreko Dankwa. I'll be getting to them again. But let me have your attention for these announcements. Now, what if I told you that 10 Ghana cedis can get you free concert tickets and shopping vouchers worth up to 500 Ghana cedis to shop at Melcom or get some buckets of juicy chicken at KFC every week? Now, here is what to do. Stake 10 Ghana cedis or more in the Game Park Game Pick 1 or Pick 4 lottery to be entered into a weekly Saturday raffle for a chance to win in the Mueller promo. Now, regardless of the outcome of your stake, you can win. You can still win a voucher for yourself. Vouchers are limited, so play more to increase your chances, and remember to watch the Saturday promo draw on Adobe TV at 6 p.m. So dial *946# or visit www.gameparkgames.com to play now. Terms and conditions apply. Game Park Games, more Mueller, more power. How is it, Ghana? Feeling stuck in the rut? Break free this Easter. Dive into the joy and fun awaiting you in South Africa, whether solo, with a special someone, or with family. Come savor the experience, treasure the moments that transform into cherished memories. Cherished memories. That's the cake and the cherry on top. You can do it all without a visa. Holiday in SA your way. Own it, love it, share it. There is so much more to see. Visit www.southafrica.net today to get started. It's a new world of doing business, and your business shouldn't be left out. So it's time to get Momo for Business today to accept payment from over 15 million Momo customers. You heard it right. All you need is a business registration certificate, and your Ghana card applying to be MTN Momo Merchant has been made simple and fast. You just have to dial *5051# and follow the prompt to apply online at momomerchantapplication.mtn.com.gh. You'll receive a reference number which you can use to track your application. So don't get caught waiting. Enjoy your transaction and convenient transactions, for your business with MTN Momo today. Note that the application is free. Do not pay any money to anyone for any merchant payment solution. Report any fraudulent charges using the Momo app available on Play Store and App Store. Joy 99.7 FM. Yeah, before I come to my in-house guests, let me get to the people on phone. Let me get to the people on phone right now. Let me speak to them. That's fine. Let them say their last words, so we come in here and we get into the rest of the conversation. A minute each. Let me go to Leslie. Is Leslie still on? Hi, Leslie.
Yes, I'm still here.
Great. So I hope the industry has spoken. You've heard all that the industry has been saying about this incident. Very unfortunate. But what is the way forward? How do we take everything up from here? What's the way forward?
On my side, obviously, I'll listen to the advice of my attorneys on what to do next. But I really want to implore everyone that is supporting me now not to give up, but to keep supporting. Don't make this a news cycle. Don't forget about this next week, because places like the Fantasy Dome supports more than even artists. It supports artists, artisans. Every time I did events, people had to buy clothes to come here, right? The people that sold, the vendors that sold around us, just to feed their kids, whether it's ice water or whatever. So let's not take this for granted. This is our power. We have to keep pushing this, and we have to make sure the government understands that we cannot be taken for granted. We're not going to be pawns that will be used to satisfy very few people's appetites. This is a problem, and the court have to stand up and do the right thing and make sure that this cannot be repeated again, because investors need clarity. Investors need comfort, and this is not it. This is not a banana republic. We are a land of laws, and this cannot be allowed to happen again to any investor, to anyone that puts their money to support the entertainment industry.
Thank you very much, Leslie. We'll get in touch with you later. We wish you all the best in your endeavors, and we pray you to keep hope alive for the industry as you've ever done. Thank you very much. Okay, and thank you, Kojo Poku. Thank you, Whitney Bwachi Mensah, for your time on Showbiz A to Z today. Yeah, we've been talking about event centers, investing in them, all the controversy and issues surrounding the demolition of the Fantasy Dome. We are back.
Roverman Productions, in partnership with National Theatre and Joy FM, presents an original Igbo White play, Dubai on No 6.
Barney, darling, do you know where Simon and Diva went for their annual vacation?
To Dubai.
Oh, so you know. And the year before that, they were in the Caribbean. Where have you been on vacation with me, your wife?
Ajua, you and I have been at Kwewu for Easter.
Kwewu.
Winneba for Abuache. Elmina for Bakatu.
Elmina.
And we have been at Keta for...
Keta. Barnabas.
We are also regular at Homo.
Shows on March 29th, 30th, 31st, and April 1st, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Time, Fridays at 7 p.m. Saturdays, 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Sundays, 1 p.m., 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. And a special showing on Easter Monday at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Rate 200 Ghana cedis. Get your tickets on the Callbar Short code *365 *535# and at all regular outlets. Call 059-6922-040. WhatsApp 050-554-6030. Sponsors: Gino Tomato Mix, TCB Bank Limited, and M Notified. Roverman Productions. Be the difference.
Get ready for the cybersecurity event of the year. The 2024 edition of the CISO Summit is back, bringing together cybersecurity leaders, IT professionals, CISOs, experts, and innovators from Ghana and beyond. Join us at the CISO Summit, where we dive deep into the latest trends, challenges, and strategies in cybersecurity. It's not just a conference, it's a gathering of minds to address evolving cyber threats, develop robust security strategies, and promote information sharing. This event will be happening live on the 27th and 28th of March at the Labadi Beach Hotel. Don't miss expert insights, innovative showcases, interactive sessions, and networking opportunities. The rate is a cool 4,000 Ghana cedis for regular and 3,800 for early bird. Valid till 23rd February 2024. Secure your spots now. Visit thecisosummit.com or call 0572-760-472. Be part of the cybersecurity revolution.
You're welcome to the maiden edition of the Joy News Impact Makers Award.
Tonight we gather here to honor and celebrate individuals.
We celebrate the goodness in our humanity
and create more inclusive, compassionate, and thriving societies.
The overall winner, Isaac Ajato.
In a land where dreams are often cradled in the arms of hope, there exists a league of unsung heroes. They are the silent architects of change, the torchbearers who illuminate paths where once there was only darkness. From the verdant stretches of our farms to the innovative labs of science, from the warm embrace of humanitarian aid to the simplest acts of kindness. These are the changemakers who sculpt the future of our nation, stitch by stitch. Unknown to them, their acts of selflessness have resonated across the land, stirring the hearts of many and sparking a movement of recognition and celebration. It's that time of the year again. Joy News proudly presents the Impact Makers Awards 2024. Join us in our quest to support and honor those steadfast warriors who are remolding the destiny of our communities and our nation. This is your moment to nominate the unsung hero in your midst, the beacon of change whose story deserves to be told. To nominate your Impact Maker of the Year, send your entries to impact.makersawards@myjoyonline.com. Let's amplify their stories. The Joy News Impact Makers Awards, celebrating ordinary people making extraordinary impact.
Introducing Pick 4 from Game Park Games, the easiest lottery to play and win. Pick 4 numbers from 0 to 9 up to 3 times a day to become one of our daily winners. More moolah, more power. Play online at www.gameparkgames.com or dial *946# to play. Game Park Games is regulated by the National Lottery Authority, not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Pick 4 from Game Park Games. More moolah, more power.
Time was so. When you signature no dada. Afi, yani down se kwa kwanase. Yedi abutre na etu fan. Sa brono madia fru kwa obipono. Dumpo Easter 2024. Easter Friday 29th no. Yebewo 590 mobile. Ni Kids Soccer League 1. Pomians to tef na se live. Saturday 30th March no no pa. Kwa unkro no debe boni wasempe from kwa Easter Games na se. Pomians to tef na so. Powered by 590 mobile ni Kids. Sunday 31st March. Anopano winners of kwa Easter Games. And the 590 mobile ni Kids Soccer League no. Wamo debe boni amye with champion of champions. Ebe baso Pomians to tef na so. And DJ Dumpo Easter 2024. Follow your way on social media platforms. I want to know the feeling here. Hashtag Dumpo Easter.
There's going to come a time that the church will rise as the highest of all the mountains, and saviors will be raised in the church to deal with the world system. And let it be now. We need to have a national focus. We don't have to lose this ambition, or else we work against the Great Commission.
They are equipped in righteousness, the agenda to possess the nations. Welcome to an equipping center of the word and prayer on Pentecost Hour.
Pentecost Hour comes to you on Joy 99.7 FM every Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Hits FM on Mondays at 5:30 a.m. and Joy Prime TV on Saturdays at 7 a.m.
Now, dear, everybody is chasing world records, so from singathon to cookathon. Me too, I am also setting my own record in watchathon with my GoTV. And you too can watch some on GoTV in our sweet Achedie Kessie deal for Ghana month. From March 1 to 31st, get a decoder, GoTenor, and 1 month Super Plus subscription for only 199 cedis. 199 cedis you, mess like a cra. Grab yours today at any source point and spice up your entertainment. GoTV, love it.
We know the dream is big. We know the passion gets you going, and you have the potential to make great strides. The Chartered Institute of Marketing, Ghana, has always been an avid supporter of industry excellence and innovation. This is why we are excited to announce the CIMG Professional Marketing Qualifications. CIMG has designed practical courses to help you make that dream a reality right here in Ghana. We are geared up and ready to support you on this journey to becoming a world-class professional marketer. Register today and be on your way to greatness. For more information, call us on 055-274-6592. Visit our website www.cimghana.org or email us on info@cimghana.org. Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana, working for Ghana.
Time was so. When you signature no dada. Afi, yani down se kwa kwanase. Yedi abutre butrene to fast. Pronomadia Fru Kwame Pono. I am Dumpo Easter 2024. Easter Friday 29th. Yabewo 590 Mobile. The Kids Soccer League 1. Pomias to Tefnas Live. Saturday 30th March in Onopa. Kawun Krono de Bani was some perfect Kwa Easter Games Nasi. Pomias to Tefnas. Powered by 590 Mobile the Kids. Sunday 31st March. Anopano winners of Kwa Easter Games. And the 590 Mobile the Kids Soccer League. No one de Bani champion of champions. Paso Pomias to Tefnas. And DJ Abdum Kwa Easter 2024. Follow your social media platforms. I want to the feeling here. Hashtag Abdum Kwa Easter.
Roverman Productions, in partnership with National Theatre and Joy FM, present an original Igbo White play, Dubai on No 6.
Barney, darling, do you know where Simon and Diva went for their annual vacation?
To Dubai.
Oh, so you know. And the year before that's the way the
Caribbeans.
Where have you been on vacation with me, your wife?
Ajua, you and I have been at Kwewu for Easter.
Kwewu.
Winneba for Abuache. Elmina for Bakatu.
Elmina.
And we have been at Keta for...
Keta. Barnabas.
We are also regular at Homo.
Shows on March 29th, 30th, 31st, and April 1st, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Time, Fridays at 7 p.m., Saturdays, 4 p.m. and 8 p.m., Sundays, 1 p.m., 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. And a special showing on Easter Monday at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Rate 200 Ghana cedis. Get your tickets on the Korba Shorts code *365*535# and at all regular outlets. Call 059-6922-040. WhatsApp 050-554-6030. Sponsors: Tino Tomato Mix, TCB Bank Limited, and M Notified. Roverman Productions. Be the difference.
Ago, mi hearing ya wawa tu, kemba gana nyon, ye joy. Akwabo.
Miawezo.
Mama wana akwabo.
Akwabo. Barka da zuwan watan kasan Ghana, anan gidan Radio Joy.
Obenim busumi, eye Ghana busumi.
Miawezo over Ghana Month Jilla Joy 99.7 FM.
Akwaba, eba Ghana Month on Joy.
Mimabe Akwaba, what Ghana siani lile yazo, what joy. We invite all of you to join us this March as we celebrate Ghana here on Joy 99.7 FM.
During this Ghana Month, you will be treated to our history, tourism, arts and culture,
our music, our food, language, beliefs, and all that makes us unique as a people.
Right here on Joy 99.7 FM. You'll also get to tell us stories about your region, town, or village and why we should make it a destination. Celebrating our uniqueness as a people.
Ghana Month on Joy FM.
Ghana Month on Joy.
Ghana Month on Joy.
Ghana Month on Joy.
Ghana Month on Joy is brought to you by Dodi World. Dream, discover, explore. Woodine. Step into elegance this March with Woodine by immersing yourself in the stunning mosaic collection. A true tribute to Ghana's vibrant culture. Vibe Ghana, vibe Woodine. Deep Solar Ghana. Don't let power outages hold you back any longer. Visit www.deepsolarghana.com or call 0595 494 113 to learn more. Coronation Insurance. Individuals, companies, insure your motors with Coronation. Coronation Insurance. Insurance for everything. Ghana Month on Joy. Joyously Ghanaian.
Ghana, we now have freedom.
These holidays, you don't need to go far to find the best entertainment. All you need to do is stay connected to DSTV. Pick your moment of fun with the best kids entertainment. Pick the best stories from your favorite series and share them with your friends. Pick your moments from the hottest sports and shine with the world's biggest stars.
Haaland, the fastest player to 40 Champions League goals.
Because it's your moment to hang out with the characters you love. Whether you're at home or on the move, make it a holiday to remember. Because these holidays, it's your moment to enjoy the best entertainment. So get and stay connected to DSTV and enjoy every moment.
Can you hear it? The freedom in our songs, the sound of liberty that rings from Kaswa to Karaga, from Tamale to Takoradi. It's in the pestles that pound from coast to coast. It's in the busy offices, the crowded streets, and the noisy schools. It's in the wisdom of our elders and in the laughter of our children. It's in seeing how far we've come and looking at how much we can grow. It's in knowing that still Ghana go be. Happy 67th Independence Day, Ghana. MTN.
Introducing Pick 4 from Game Park Games, the easiest lottery to play and win. Pick 4 numbers from 0 to 9 up to 3 times a day to become one of our daily winners. More moolah, more power. Play online at www.gamepackgames.com or dial *946# to play. Game Park Games is regulated by the National Lottery Authority, not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Pick 4 from Game Park Games. More moolah, more power.
Time aso. We need signature no dada. Afi, yani down se kwekwananse. Yedi abutre na etu fan. Sa brono madia fru Kwame pono. Adum Easter 2024. Easter Friday 29th no. Yebe 590 mobile. The Kids Soccer League 1. Pomias to Tef Nasa Live. Saturday 30th March in Onopa. Kawunkro no deba boni wasempe from Kwa Easter Games nase. Pomias to Tef Naso. Powered by 590 mobile the Kids. Sunday 31st March. Anopano. Winners of Kwa Easter Games. And the 590 mobile the Kids Soccer League no. Wamo deba boni amye with champion of champions. Paso Pomias to Tef Naso. And DJ Adum Kwa Easter 2024. Follow your social media platforms. I want to the feeling here for so hashtag Adumko Easter.
Dive into a new era of news consumption with myjoyonline.com, your go-to destination for cutting-edge journalism, giving you the most credible stories from business to politics and from sports to entertainment. Myjoyonline.com introduces an upgraded news website meticulously designed to empower you with an enriched browsing experience like never before. Experience the future of news browsing with myjoyonline.com.
Joy 99.7 FM, welcome back to the show. Yeah, Showbiz A to Z, and we're back to our events conversation. But how's it Ghana? Feeling stuck in the rut? Break free this Easter. Dive into the joy and fun awaiting you in South Africa, whether solo, with a special someone, or with family. Come savor the experience, treasure the moments that transform into cherished memories. That's the cake and the cherry on top. You can do it all without a visa. Holiday in SA your way. Own it, love it, share it. There is so much more to see. Visit southafrica.net today to get started. Okay, so welcome back, my guests, Uncle Ken, Baba Sadiq, and Kujupreko Dankwa. So before we go, we are trying to find ways of creating a very conducive environment for investors in this industry, particularly in this instance, those investing into the event sector, people like Leslie, who are investing in event venues, especially bigger auditoriums. Now, recently, when Dr. Bawumia, mentioned the things that he wants to do for the creative industry, he mentioned tax incentives for filmmakers and music producers. Do you think we would need something like that for investors in the event sector, those who put up, let's say, very huge auditoriums? Do we need something like that to keep them going? Let me start with you, Baba Sadiq.
Yes, of course. We need a special regime, just as it happened in other sectors, to be able to encourage investment, and that will enable growth in major the sectors of the economy that provide opportunities. And you don't necessarily need to rethink it. There's been a lot of models that had happened. The free zones model is a special regime that's supposed to encourage investment. Mm-hmm. We've had recently the 1D, 1F again. Also, that's also a special regime to encourage investment in industry. So, if this is the same things that's applied to industry, because it's essentially the same thing, giving tax rebates here and there, support here and there, and all of those things. This is what you need to enable growth in major sectors. Now, if we understand that the creative, or what you call the CAT industry, which is the culture, art, and tourism industry, holds a lot of promise. CAT,
culture,
CAT,
arts,
and
tourism. CAT.
Yes,
okay.
CAT.
Right.
I think that I'm saying CAT because
I understand.
Yeah, in our thinking, particularly I mean, if you know, in our thinking, because it's a political show, we have actually, the thinking now is to refer to it as a cat industry. To allow culture to lead, because culture is everything. We're just having a conversation about another country that's selling the tourism potentials of their country using their culture, i.e. their music. So we obviously understand it. So back to the point.
Okay.
If we understand that it holds a lot of promise and could employ a lot more people, right? Then you begin to set in some of these things that would be able to enable it. But there's a lot beyond this. Then you need to have coherent laws. You need to have again special legislation that protects people like Leslie and other investors that are coming into the country. So yes, this is the way to go. The way to go, and it's been the cry of industry for so long that we need some of these special tax regimes or statutory payment regimes to enable growth within the sector. But all of this should be tied to an overarching plan for industry. Recently Nigeria had launched a plan to say between now and the next 4 years they want to create about 2 million jobs in the cat industries, for instance. And so that's the bigger objective of it. How? Then they begin to break it down in terms of what they want to do, how they want to encourage funding, how they want to encourage investors, how they want to use the laws to actually encourage funding for industry and all of that. So this is the way to go, but this and more is what the sector needs. There are laws that need amendments. There are laws that need repositioning. I've always made a point that the copyright law, for instance, is not fit for purpose currently. Also because the thinking was that they were thinking of it as CMO in the ways they think about it. But when you think about it very well, the copyright organization is supposed to be a public financial management organization.
Okay.
When you think in terms of what they are supposed to do, that aptly thinking about it in this particular way will help to solve a lot of the issues. So in that instance, even when you provide tax incentive, there are avenues to make the most out of the tax incentives that you're going to, because if you give the tax incentives regardless and there aren't avenues to maximize the revenues of industry, you wouldn't have done anything. And it couldn't help us.
The copyright organization that you're talking about, it used to be COSCA.
Yes, COSCA.
And when it was COSCA, it was managing all what you're talking about. It was the same industry players who fought against COSCA managing their affairs and wanted to be independent CMOs.
No, in actual fact, it's not bad the way it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is the fact that by the time
COSCA was managing, like you were saying.
In actual fact, it's not bad that there's a parent copyright organization and there's ASOG and GAMRO and Co, right? It's not bad. But what I'm saying is that by the time the law was passed, industry had progressed so much forward that the law seemed outdated. It wasn't fit for purpose for the now and the future of industry.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. And so that's what some of the things that I'm talking about. That yes, the tax incentives are good, but so is all these other things that we need to be able to ensure that we do not only focus on the relief that we get from the taxes, but we need to, for instance, if you give us a tax relief for us events people, that when we do events and there's a lesser statutory payment we pay. If the market is still not, what's the word I'll use? If the market is still not, what's the word coming? The word is not coming. It's still not favorable to commercialize or to raise revenues. It wouldn't mean anything. It still wouldn't mean anything. If you give me tax reliefs in bringing equipment into the country for the film sector and all of those things and stuff like that.
So there should be a holistic
part
approach
in the value chain that supports my growth or my revenue making, for instance. It still wouldn't mean anything. Give the filmmaker tax reliefs and everything. If he still doesn't have a point of distribution the films to make money back on it, then there's a problem.
But it will at least alleviate certain burden.
Exactly. There needs to be. That's why I've always maintained that. There has to be. I think we need to get to the point where within governance circles, there is that major thought leadership or think tank that drive thinking for industry. The best bet we had was the Creative Arts Agency. That's the best bet we had because their law was fresh. So that's the point I'm saying, that the best bet we had, unfortunately, it's not.
We had or we have.
Well, I mean, 9 months to go. I don't know. 9 months to go. I don't know what else.
Don't we still have it?
We still have it, but I mean, is it operational? You need to tell me. I don't know.
Baba,
we have.
I heard George Quay, for instance, say...
Is it not at a fledgling state? Is it not still
Yes.
Fledgling for 4 years.
Yeah.
Fledgling
Still
for 4
fledgling.
years.
Teething stage.
In Ghana...
For 4 years.
In Ghana, 4 years is still fledgling.
Let me come to you again.
I heard George Quay, for instance, say that out of his ticket price for the gods are not to blame. That cost 150 Ghana cedis. Nearly 30 cedis out of that
has to go to taxes.
Has to go
Right.
to government for taxes.
Yeah.
And so in actual fact, they only have 120 Ghana cedis to play with.
Yeah.
But what George forgot to add was that it was not them that were being charged that 30%. It was the individual buying the ticket.
Yes, I think he
Yeah, but
explained
see,
that.
the bane of industry is
Yeah.
that when there's socioeconomic impact, attendance or people actively paying to attend for shows drop. So in December, for instance, there are a lot of people that experience that drop. So there's a new shift now. People have resorted to staying home with their friends, getting their drinks, and entertaining there's an ascendancy of house parties, house enjoyment, quote unquote, than actually having to drink house and actually having to pay to go to some of these places. And so that informs why a number of the nightclubs, unlike before, I don't know in Nankakan's then days.
Oh, don't go there.
What they were doing, but in my day, you were going to pay money to enter Boomerang. Pay money to enter Twist.
And you also had to pay in my time.
And they paid.
Okay, but now you don't pay to enter, you just reserve. Because then that is limited. They realize that they won't get people. So they allow people to come in because so they can buy people can buy drinks and they can make money on drinks. But even with that, it's the way the market is certain, the socioeconomic impact has taken a lot of data business. Bloom have shut down.
Has it?
Bloom is shut down. Bloom nightclub has shut down.
Why?
It's unfavorable. I mean, every people are uptight, and
Is
so
that-
when
is that-
people
is
are
that the
uptight,
reason the
entertainment becomes
owners
the
are
last
cited?
resort. I mean, when people are thinking of survival, entertainment becomes the last resort.
Okay.
So then now, in doing that particular instance, you need to find a way to encourage people.
Okay.
Now, if you're having to tax them extra, and so ticket becomes expensive, then it becomes difficult for them to come in.
Okay.
That explains why we keep experiencing losses. And when you don't even have a bigger venue, you're still limited to the smaller venue. No matter how much money you put into it, guy,
How
it's
many
gone.
artists feel the
Oh, there are few artists that feel bigger
Yes.
than others. But then as commercial event companies, I mean, you could work with different artists that
Exactly.
could fill bigger
Fill,
venues for
they
you to
could.
make money.
Yeah.
So that you can keep the business running.
Great. Kojo Preko. So here we are trying to find ways of making our industry very conducive for people who are investing in the event sector. How do we do that?
For the event sector,
When we know so well that we don't have the venues.
as for the venues, we don't want to talk about it again because
Why don't you want to talk about it again?
Apathy.
Yes,
Why don't you want to talk about
apathy
it
has
again?
set in. You talk. You look as if you either bashing somebody without any reason. I mean, yes, if government is serious about, giving us what they want to give us, it's not about the tax incentives matter. I mean, you could have given us these structures and it would have turned it into something else for you to even
An
gain your money. and all
amphitheater
that.
is near completion.
It's English.
Deputy Minister showed us the pictures yesterday.
It's English. Near completion, near this, near that. We
very
spoke up.
easy for
Yes,
me.
when he said he was going to launch it in July. Is it June or July?
It's fledgling.
Yes, we went just as they went to inaugurate the cathedral. We also went to inaugurate the Kumasi Wanas.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we did. I spoke up. We did. We went there to inaugurate it.
Oh, where are pictures, videos?
Oh, the pictures are there. We inaugurated it. Mark said
So it's
June
functioning.
or July.
It's functioning.
No, it is still empty. So you understand. So for me, it's
near completion.
Yes, near
And for the
completion.
next 9 months, you'll be near completion.
Yes, and it's
Kojo,
yeah.
Government doesn't have- government
but
doesn't
I
have
did
money.
not
It
even
appears
finish.
you people, you don't have hope. You don't have
I
trust
did not even
in
finish
yourselves,
my
in
Which
your-
hope?
in your country.
Kwame,
8 years.
when
Uncle
you
Ken.
came to me,
Yes,
I
sir.
did not
Wastage,
even
what
make
is
a
our-
submission.
Oh, you didn't?
I asked Sadiq
You
a
didn't.
question.
You didn't.
And you moved away from
Oh,
me immediately.
No, you are going to wrap everything
I thought
up.
you were just coming to.
No.
Uncle Ken,
Yeah.
you are going to wrap everything up. So let me finish with Kojo Preko. Then opening the area, then Suasa.
Okay, 1 minute.
Yes.
I think that Sadiq has said, we think. I think that we really need to have. I mean, a structure. We need to have a policy to guide these things. It's not just mere talk.
Okay.
Where you want to say, I mean, I'm giving you incentives, bring in all the cameras and everything. When you are done, what happens to it? I mean, as we speak, even look at NFA.
Yeah.
The structure is that the committee should have distribution as part of the board. Now, distribution in this country, how is it going? Okay, but they are part of the board. So you look at the structure, you could tell that, I mean, it is not really what we think it was then and then now. I think we need to really sit down very well and put structures down and then re-strategize very well. Other than that, I mean, seriously speaking, things will not be well for us.
Let's pray.
We'll pray.
Let's pray.
Uncle Ken.
Yes.
Jerry and I uncle.
And I mean,
Matthias Wintine funny your uncle.
Izunu nurse.
There's your I don't know if we had the opportunity to extend our condolences to George Daku's family, but I'm sure.
Yes.
We didn't do it. Yeah.
It's unmissable.
Of
Uncle Ken, please do that for us on our behalf. Please.
On our behalf, yes, you do
George,
that for us.
George Nana.
Yeah.
Tufuhini.
Okay.
I should accord him that respect because that was where he was before his demise. I mean, he's 73. He would have been 73 on the 5th of April. You know.
Yeah.
So he's within my year group. He was. I knew him.
He's a them days people.
Yeah, I knew him from infancy.
Analog people.
Wow.
Yeah, he is.
So yeah, analog.
And that's why he's a guitarist.
So you have
that's why he does not deal. That's why he's organic.
I said
you.
Today if I did
Shush.
But I thought you said you are digital.
He is. He's semi-digital.
He's on TikTok.
Have you?
I can is on TikTok. Oh, if you said
not a lie.
How
can you lie?
Please continue.
I'll show Kwame Dadzie.
Don't mind Sadiq.
on TikTok. I'm a pure
Don't mind Sadiq.
Don't bring him here again. There's been peace.
He'll be back next week.
While this guy has been away. Honestly, he was in the army. And yes, Jotako was in the army. And he was at the 4th Battalion in Kumasi. And they had a band where he was lead and played guitar until he left Ghana and went to Germany. And the rest is known by everybody, you know, while they were in Germany, the stuff that they put out. He came back to Ghana, he was installed the Tufuhini of Rokoponge Kwapim, you know.
Yeah.
And he has been Tufuhini until his demise.
Oh.
You know, so we have a huge funeral that's going to happen at Okopong. And George has made a name for himself. And may he rest in perfect peace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Uncle Ken, is that your final remarks?
That's what you pushed me into.
No,
I was. 1 minute. Okay. I was going to go back to the demolition matter and say there's been a school of thought, albeit, you know, people who are cynical into thinking that all what's happening could be a case geared towards people getting judgment debt for what has happened. Because I have a very naughty niece who sent me a message. I did not want to read it, but I have to now that you made me say. She said to me, Uncle Ken, everybody in the studio there seems to think that the act was wrong. So why is Leslie hesitating on going to court?
But
everybody thinks,
by the injunction,
and like
the matter is in court, right?
And he himself thinks, no, that injunction was for a period of time, which I'm sure would have elapsed by now.
Okay.
Or going to love.
You know, so there are people who think there could be an issue of people conniving to have judgment debt. I hope that's not
okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Uncle Ken. Thank you, Baba Sadiq, Kojo Preko Dankwatu, Kojo Poku, Whitney Wachi Mensa, and Leslie Queno. My name is Kwame Dadzie. Show produced by Philip Nye, Anita Tay, Olivier Fangnan, and brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go, superstar multi-fruit rank. Happy birthday to you, Noella Karing Yali. We're back next week.